Hi, I'm Garen Daly, the Festival Director for the Boston Science Fiction Film Festival and Marathon, or SF47, as we like to say. And, we have been doing for the last several weeks little previews of what's going on in the marathon, and today is no different. But before we start about that, it's amazing what has happened to the world outside. Today, I spent most of the day tracking down t-shirts because it's like there are not t-shirts out there anymore. So these big suppliers, because they're suffering with the COVID supply chain problems, I cannot find certain sizes in certain colors. So we're trying to figure out what's going on. So today I'm a little frustrated, and unfortunately some of the team has heard it when I get a little frustrated. But let's not dwell on that. We're going to talk about 3 films that are going to be in this year's marathon, which, for those of you who don't know, will be on the 20th and 21st of February, starting at noon and running through noon at the Somerville Theater. And if you're interested in finding out what our COVID policy is, it is posted on our website, bostonscifi.com. But the first film we're going to be talking about today is so germane to the COVID thing. And back in 1995, Wolfgang Petersen, who is one of my favorite directors, or was after I saw Das Boot, created a film called Outbreak. Outbreak starred Dustin Hoffman, Rene Russo, and Morgan Freeman. And when I first saw this film, I'm a big Rene Russo fan. I think she's a pretty good actor. Love Morgan Freeman, of course. And Dustin Hoffman sometimes can grate. He's like a little over the top. And I think in some ways he is in this. But the topic matter that is in this film is so on point that we have to play it for this year's marathon. And here's a clip to show you what I'm talking about.
There you are. Here, Betsy.
No, Jesus. Come on, Katie. Come on. No.
Betsy, come on. Here, Betsy.
Damn it, so.
I love that clip. It's a really good clip. And one of the problems with Outbreak is that's a capuchin monkey. They don't exist in Congo where they came from. So it's like, that's some of the scientific mistakes in the film. But it does give a pretty good representation of what would happen if there was a deadly virus like Ebola, which was kind of what it was based on, comes and hits the United States. Obviously, we all know now that the United States has not done a good job when it comes to COVID and viruses like that, because people, for whatever reasons that are absolutely elude me, are unwilling to take a shot and get, have the possible virus attack mitigated. But still, it's a good little film, and it is going to be in the marathon. And I'm sure we will have some nice things to say when Kevin Spacey, who was in the film prior to his cancellation, a cultural cancellation, shows up. I think he might get a few boos in the audience. But anyways, Outbreak is our #1 film for this installment of our podcast. Our #2 film is by a director that I really like, again, Alex Proyas. And it's I, Robot, which did not get a lot of love when it first came out. And I think part of the problem was, I really don't know what kind of the problem is. I think it's a decent film, a solid film. Will Smith is in it, obviously, as you can see with the poster here. But it's based very, very loosely on Isaac Asimov's 3 Laws, which are part of the intro to the film. But it's really based on a story by Jeff Venter and Akiva Goldsmith. It also stars Will Smith, Bridget Moynahan, for those who don't know, Tom Brady's baby mama, and James Cromwell. We seem to have a lot of James Cromwell this year. But iRobot takes place in the near future, and the question is are robots going to become sentient? And here's a clip to show that.
Detective, what are you doing?
Well, you said they've all been programmed with the 3 laws, so that means we have 1,000 robots that will not try to protect themselves if it violates a direct order from a human. And I'm betting one who will.
Detective, put your gun down.
Why do you give them faces? Try to friendly them all up, make them look all human.
These robots are not susceptible to intimidation.
I guess if you didn't, we wouldn't trust them.
These robots are USR property.
Not me. These things are just lights and clockwork.
Crazy.
Let me ask you something, Doc. Does thinking you're the last sane man on the face of the earth make you crazy? Because if it does, maybe I am. Gotcha.
Pretty good. I liked it. It's a good scene. Again, Mark Sherwood, who's our director and producer, is going out and getting these clips, and I think he did a really good job with that one. That's a nice piece. Says everything we need to know about what's going on in the movie. There are a bunch of references to other movies inside of iRobot. One of them that I like is from Freaks, the old 1930s film, where the robots start saying, "One of us, one of us, one of us," and they start chanting, just like the Freaks did at the circus show near the end of Freaks. I won't fill in any other ones that may be there. You can find them if you look for them. And there's a rumor, there's always been a rumor, that there would be a sequel. It grossed pretty well, which is always usually an indicator that a sequel is coming. And Alex Proess has been quoted as saying, yeah, if there's going to be another sequel, it's going to take place in space. And I'm going, what? I mean, really? That doesn't seem to make a lot of sense to me, but who knows? Hollywood works in mysterious ways. The last film that we're going to be talking about is Superman 2. Now, I don't know about you, but I've never been a huge Superman fan. I know there are people who absolutely love Superman, and I like Superman, and I understand his allure and his attraction. It's all really good stuff, but for whatever reason, I feel a little like it's too goody-goody, and I like the Marvel grittiness at sometimes, and I like some of the DC grittiness at times. Superman is our original superhero, I feel, but and then Superman 2, we're going to be showing the Richard Donner cut. And for those of you who don't know, the Richard Donner cut is not really the Richard Donner cut. It is the film as Richard Donner would have done if he had done it. He didn't do it. It was put together afterwards, and it's 80% shot from his stuff, and then another 20% by Richard Lester was added into it. So it's a little different, and the difference between Richard Lester and Richard Donner is that Lester was paid to do it. Donner obviously loves the topic, and so here's an example of that love.
Superman.
This thing would go the distance.
Gene Hackman, you gotta love Gene Hackman. I don't know if you were like me, but were you counting the product placements? There was a Marlboro, there was a Kentucky Fried Chicken, there was a Coca-Cola, and there was another one that I'm missing, but you can figure that one out later. what's nice about this film is the cast. Aside from Superman, Gene Hackman is wonderful. Terrence Stamp, I've always loved Terrence Stamp, especially when he started off back in the late 60s in all those angry British films. And Sarah Douglas does a great job. Margot Kidder, who I think most of us as young males or females had a crush on. She was always a wonderful actor to watch. So there's a lot of good things in this. I've never seen the Donner cut of Superman 2. So I'll be looking forward to watching this as we unspool this at SF47, the marathon, on February 20th through the 21st. We have one more marathon podcast coming up in the next couple of days. We will talk about the remaining films in the marathon. We'll also be doing a bunch of interviews and conversations and featurettes with upcoming films inside the festival. Films such as Out of Sync, which I'm very keen on. Out of Sync is a story about a sound engineer who all of a sudden has a disconnect with her hearing and what's going on in the real world and how that applies to sci-fi. We've also got a number of really interesting films. We've got an animated film called Nahal and the Magic Book, which played at Annecy Animation Festival this past year. Gets really good ratings, and it's something we've been wanting to do, and that is to start highlighting animation as part of our science fiction. So we have a lot of things going on. A lot of it's going to be live, and it's also going to be a virtual piece. And remember, this year we're doing live pieces and virtual pieces. They're not necessarily happening all at the same time. And we'll have some films that are going to be live, but not virtual, and some films that will be virtual and not live. By all means, please go to our website, bostonscifi.com, buy tickets, bostonscifi.com/tickets, and let us know what you think of our programming and what's going on. Until the next time, my name is Garen Daly, and I really thank you for joining us today. Have a good day.